All right, couple new things came in the mail. Let's check it out. All right, so I have a couple new things that came in the past couple days. I figured I'd catch everybody up on this stuff. One of these items has been one of the Kickstarter programs that was funded and process started many months ago. As with everything, COVID holds everything up. It's been slowing down things, manufacturing, and actually this is only part of the package deal. This was one of those bands that they set out to do something on Kickstarter to reissue. Basically, it's a live album, just material that was never released before, and I'll tell you more about the band in a second, but they raised the amount that they needed to put out this live album, first time ever pressed, heard, released, period. They raised all the money needed like in a short amount of time and went way over. So as with many Kickstarter programs, the company, they decided to put out some new stuff. So hey, we'll get together and put some new songs out. Okay, yeah, and then there's more, but fine, we'll reissue our one and only other album on vinyl again with some bonuses and stuff. So basically what they did is the live album was the first thing they offered. That was finished, came in, and that's what we got. And the rest of the material, the new tracks, the bonus stuff, the reissue of the first album, all of that has still got some issues with legalities and all that stuff. I'm talking about a band that I'm pretty sure many of you probably will not know. Chagall Guevara. Now, the name comes from, Chase Guevara. He, was the revolutionary guy. And then Mark Chagall was an artist. So basically, it's kind of a twist on the words of revolutionary art. And what this is, it was a band, they had one album out. What was this, 91 or 90 or something? So this came out, and this actually there is an actual vinyl issue of this. It's just really hard to get. And this is on MCA Records, and this was released, and they did some, I wouldn't say they got huge or anything, but they had a song on the soundtrack, Pump Up the Volume, which is a Christian Slater movie. They, got a little bit of singles out there. They had a video that at the time I guess would have been on MTV before MTV, stopped with the music. And so it kind of made a blip on there, but that's about as far as it went. This was recorded around that same time. It's very nicely sounding recording, so they thought, hey, let's see if there's any interest in any of our old fans from 20, 30 years ago wanting to see this. And like I said, it skyrocketed. They raised more money than needed, so they said they would get the guys back together, record a couple new songs. I think there's like 4 songs that's going to come out, and they're going to have that on vinyl. And then everybody kept saying, we want this to be reissued so we can get it. So, but I understand in the emails that they're writing that the record label, they're having problems with the legalities of getting the rights to put this back out. So basically the band, most all of the guys in the band have had histories in the contemporary Christian market. Mainly the singer Steve Taylor is the one guy that really drew me to it. Steve Taylor, I've talked about him in the past and everything. So, but this was an attempt by the members in the band to go mainstream. There's nothing, Christian about this. There's no spiritual lyric type things along that line. You could listen to this and say this is just a alternative rock sounding band of the early 90s. So, it's worth checking out. Like I said, they've got a video. You can track it down. It's on YouTube. They've got an album. It's just good music, I think. It's not, you have to kind of just divorce it from anything you might think about the fact that these guys had done music in the contemporary Christian market. And Steve Taylor is back, and he's got some recent albums in past, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. So anyway, but it's a great album. So to have this live album, it is great. They brought it out. It, like I say, it did get finished and came out. So it is a gatefold. Ugh. Nice sturdy cover. It's just on black. I'm not really sure at this point whether they had other options. I think I just probably went with the less expensive. It is a double record set, so and it sounds great. And they did release the digital tracks for this a few months ago because, again, the album they knew was going to get held up with the shipping and everything. And they've also released the 4 brand new tracks that were released. Those have been digitally sent, but they're still working with the manufacturer and everything. So anyway, Chagall Guevara, check them out. I've liked them, loved them for years, and like I say, mainly because of my attraction with everything Steve Taylor. But I really think that it's just a great release. So let's see. The other thing that came in was, and I bought this on kind of a whim because I was like, well, I didn't buy it initially when it came out because I don't really need it because I got an original press, but blah, blah, blah. And then the prices, they dropped the prices that went on sale. And so I went ahead and decided to grab it. So this is the 180 gram limited vinyl repress of Ultimatums Into the Pit. Now, for those of you not familiar, it is, basically a thrash band. Scott Waters it has a YouTube personality, which I'm sure most of you might be familiar with who watch me. So this is his band. It was reissued. I do have it originally issued as one of the Rocks Underground, the number 2 one, actually. And this particular one came out a handful of years ago, and it is uncolored. This weird kind of a pinkish, purplish... and it was 150 pressed, and I got a number 108. So I'm probably going to pass this on to someone, resell it or something, because I don't really need 2 copies. But the purpose of this was, it is remastered. It is on 180 gram. It's in a regular sleeve. Yeah, it's black, custom centerings there, lyrics, all of the typical stuff. And then at the same time, I went ahead and grabbed the CD version of it because the CD reissue has 6 new tracks. Again, I had the original from 2008. This has more pages in the book. It sounds phenomenal. I took it in the car, which has a nice surround stereo in the car, and I had it cranking. I mean, the windows had to be shaking, but it was great. It was great. Now, this was supposed to come with one of those foil cards, band cards that the labels have been putting in some of these, and it did not accompany this because they were separate in this. They came separate, not in the case. But Scott's going to hook me up. He's sending me one, so I should be getting that because that was kind of the reason I bought it, was to get an upgraded copy, but also to get the card. So I got this, and like I said, they're on sale. Go to Boone's Overstock, Boones Overstock, Boone's Overstock, for any of these limited run and other retroactive records vinyl. If you're looking to buy any of their stuff, go check them out now. They've got like 50 some pages of discounted products, and these albums. I got this Into the Pit for $25. It regularly was like $39 or something. And they have a lot of the old retroactive vinyl reissues, the Haven and all of those other bands from the past 3-4 years or so, everywhere from $15 to $30 or whatever, a lot cheaper than when they first came out. But there are few main copies of each one, but you need to go get them now because these things are priced to sell. So I went ahead and grabbed those, and like I say, grabbed this. Now this, recently I showed in an earlier video that I also picked up Ultimatum's the 10-year anniversary edition of this. So these are now both the original copies. I'm thinking I may add these in as one of the package deals in my contest. If you're not familiar with my contest, scroll back a couple videos. I have a 600 subscriber contest, and I've got some various packages, vinyl or CDs. And since I don't have a lot in the CDs, I thought I would offer this. So I may throw this in if somebody wants, something along the thrash metal lines. Then there may be 2 CDs as part of the package deal, because I feel kind of bad. It is geared with mostly prizes for vinyl, and there's not a lot for CDs. I'm also it's all geared mainly for metal. I know some people who have been doing contest entry videos, and I'm like, they don't show a lot of hard rock and metal. I'm wondering if there's going to be a prize here that's fitting for them, so obviously so, or they probably wouldn't have entered. Anyway, I just want to have more options there. So, and the last thing was, we went out yesterday and we went to Best Buy to get something, had to get some electronic, and I went through and looked at the records, and there was nothing really there. I mean, there's obviously always something you could buy. That's always something to add, fill in a hole here or there, but there was nothing really, that jumped out. So my wife was like, why not? So she went over and looked, and we flipped through it, and she said, you should get this, or you should get that. And I said, well, I don't really want to spend the money on this or that. I said, there is one thing over there that I thought would be cool because I think everybody would kind of like it. And so she made me buy it, so it's all her fault. And that is the Strange Things soundtrack from seasons 1 and 2. This is actually a sticker that came in it. There was also a poster that came in it, but my daughter snagged that. It's a double record set. If you're familiar with the Netflix series, our family likes it. My kids really like it. And this is just a soundtrack to that, which mainly has a lot of 80s, because it takes place in the 80s. Has a lot of 80s tracks on here. Every Breath You Take from the Police, Should I Stay or Should I Go, The Clash. A song by the Bangles I've never heard. Echo and the Bunnymen, Corey Hart, Sunglasses at Night, Duran Duran, Girls on Film. That's early. Psychedelic Furs, Olivia Newton-John, Jim Croce, Devo, Bon Jovi, Cyndi Lauper, The Romantics, The Scorpions, Peter Gabriel, New Order. So it's a lot of cool tracks. Some of these I was not familiar with. I'm listening to I'm going, I never heard that song, but cool. And yes, so we grabbed this. It's got some little dialogues from the show in between every few songs. There's like a little dialogue, so that's kind of a cute little throwback. Now the soundtracks that we do want, that I keep picking up and keep putting back down, are the Guardians of the Galaxy. There is Volume 1 and Volume 2. There's from each movie, because if you've listened to if you watch the movies for Guardians of the Galaxy, not only am I a big Marvel fan, but the movies, Quill, the Star-Lord, is always listening to music from his parents, reminding him of his mother and everything, and it's all just great 70s rock type stuff. And so the soundtracks are just a great compilation. And then there's one that's like the deluxe edition, which has all of those tracks, and then the second album is all the like soundtrack orchestration stuff. So, and then there is a second volume. So those are on my radar. I've picked them up. I held them in my hands at times. It's just like I didn't want to pull the trigger. So this was really the first, soundtrack official purchase that we've made. I have other soundtracks, but those tended to be older and purchased. But so we grabbed that. That was kind of like the latest thing yesterday while we were there. So yeah, that's it for now, though. I don't want to go rambling on too much. Thanks for watching. Rock on and rock hard.